Yes, welcome back to the Rat Cave. It's Ratzi for DJKit and a really big video from me today. We are checking out the brand new, just announced Pioneer DJ DJM-A9 Pro mixer. So as you can imagine, this DJM-A9 is of course the direct replacement for the DJM-900 Nexus 2, which is almost to the day 7 years old. And the weird thing about that mixer is even though it is 7 years old, it's still the club standard mixer that you'll find in pretty much every DJ booth in every club across the world. So, was an update necessary? I mean, to be fair, some people would say yes, some people would say no. Some people will just be happy with the 900 Nexus 2. But as I go through the updated features on this A9 mixer, you will see how welcome and how up to date and how this A9 blows the 900 Nexus 2 out of the water. So without further ado, let's get into it. So first things first, this DJM-A9 is slightly bigger in size compared to the 900 Nexus 2. And even though it is only a 4-channel mixer like the 900 Nexus 2 is, there are certain parts on this mixer which are a little bit more like the DJM V10. But in terms of size, certain bits are slightly more spread out, and certain features have got their own dedicated sections, which of course I will be getting onto throughout this video. But what I want to do is get out my trusty tape measure and let's actually see how big this bad boy is. So width-wise, we're talking 41 centimeters, depth about 42.5-ish, and height 9 centimeters. So, word of warning, of course, if you have the 900 Nexus 2 mixer and you are thinking of upgrading to this DJM-A9 and you've got a flight case or a carry bag for it, this isn't going to fit in that flight case. You will need a whole new flight case. So let's take a look at the mixer itself. Now, how I want to do this, I want to start top and center. So we're going to go down the sort of channels, then we'll go over to the left, then we'll go over to the right. So, as I mentioned, this is a 4-channel mixer, but there are some new features in terms of connectivity with the channels. All 4 channels on this A9 have got Bluetooth connectivity, which is really handy for Bluetoothing a device into any channel that you've got free, you know, whether that be playing music from a phone or whatever. But I think it's good that the Bluetooth is on every channel because it doesn't restrict you. So other connections per channel, you've got 2 USBs for connecting a laptop or a computer. They are over here, and as you can see, you've now got a USB-C as well as the USB-B, which we saw on the older mixers. But Pioneer DJ now are going down the USB-C route. We've seen it on a few of their other mixers as well. But yeah, so USB-A and USB-B for the laptop section over here. Flick between the two using this knob here, and you know that's perfect for obviously having 2 computers or laptops plugged into the mixer at the same time. Ideal for back-to-backs without the hassle of the complicated switchover. So also per channel, we've got the digital, we've got the line, and we've got the phono, and over here we've got the return, and a new addition is the USB, which I will get onto when I talk about the send and return over here. So moving downwards on the mixer, you know, this is a familiar layout with the trim and the EQ. The trim up here, the high EQ there, the mid EQ there, and the low EQ there. And then, of course, you've got the LED strip for your sound level, the green, the orange, and the red. Obviously, stay out of the red. That is going to always sound terrible. Not a good idea. And I don't know if you've noticed as well, but this is what I was saying about it being sort of a little bit more spaced out compared to the 900 Nexus 2. The gap in between these EQ knobs is actually 2 millimeters bigger than what it is on the 900 Nexus 2 mixer. So plenty more room to be twiddling your EQ knobs and less of a risk for all of you sausage fingered DJs out there to be sort of, you know, hitting the high while you're twisting the mid and all that jazz. Now then, moving down to the color effects. You've got the same color effects on this A9 that are on the 900 Nexus 2. You've got space, dub echo, crush, sweep, noise, and filter. But as you can see, they are laid out slightly differently over here in a sort of 2, 4, 6 like that, rather than the 3 and the 3 that we saw on the 900 Nexus 2. Also, a new addition on this A9 in terms of the knob itself, there is a center lock. Now, what this does, if you sort of compare this to the same way that a seatbelt works, you know, like if you slowly move a seatbelt, it doesn't lock, but if you pull a seatbelt really quickly, same kind of deal with this knob here. So if you've got the center lock turned on over here, if I gently move the color effects left and right, then there's no lock. But if I sort of do it quite quickly, as you can see, it locks in the center. So what that is, you know, we've all been there sort of in the height of a mix and we're sort of slamming on those color effects and stuff. It just means that when you're hitting, let's say we're hitting this filter over here, yeah, and then we're slamming it back, it means that we're not then sort of dipping into the low pass filter by going that way. So, you know, this is a great addition on this mixer, but if that's not for you, you can turn it off with that switch over there. Also, with the color effects, you've got, of course, the parameter knob over here, which is like how extreme the effect is in the mix. So again, if I have this on max, that's a pretty extreme high pass filter and a pretty extreme low pass filter. And actually, last little bit to say about this section, particularly the 3-band EQ, is that there is an EQ curve switch over here. So you can have it complete isolation, where what that means is that completely cuts the bass out, that completely cuts the mid out, and that completely cuts the high out. As you can see, it's taken out the whole tune. Whereas if you've got this on EQ, it does take out the EQ, obviously, but it doesn't cut it out completely. So underneath the color effects, this is where your headphone queuing is. And just to say about this A9, this is taken from the DJM V10. You've got 2 different headphone inputs on this. And I don't just mean the 1/4 inch and the 3.5mm actual inputs. You've got 2 headphones. So you've got headphones A, which the section is over here. So you've got your mix and your Q knob here. You've got your volume here. And then you've got link Q and mono split options. Of course, the link Q is the feature so that you can track preview on the CDJ3000s. But yeah, so headphone A is over here, and then you've got headphone B over here, which has got link Q, mono split, and then the mix and level knobs as well. But you can queue them up. So what this means is you can have 2 DJs sort of mixing at the same time, you know, on the 2 different channels, because you've got independent headphones. You can both be listening to the same, you can both have the same channel queued up, or, you know, you can have headphone A queued up on this channel, headphone B queued up on this channel, etc, etc, and you can also do it on the master. So moving down, you've got your channel faders here. These are taken directly again from the DJM V10, and I have to say they're so smooth and they feel so much nicer. And it's a strange thing to say, but you can kind of tell by like the noise that they make when you click them to the top. Like they feel less clicky almost. They feel a bit sort of heavier. Like it's hard to explain, but you'll know what I mean when you do manage to have a go on this A9. And then under here, you've obviously got your crossfader assigned, so either A or B or then through, which completely cuts out the crossfader completely. And then moving down about the crossfader, so this is a Magvel fader, but this is a generation 3 Magvel fader. Just to compare to the 900 Nexus 2, that was a generation 1 Magvel fader. So as you can expect, 7 years worth of development. We are now on the generation 3, and the fader, again, it feels so nice. It's, you know, it's buttery, it's not too heavy, but you know, you've got your crossfader adjust down here as well, the crossfader curve, and you've got the channel fader curves switch as well over here, which we did see on the 900 Nexus 2, but you can really tell the difference. There has been a massive improvement on these channel faders and the crossfader on this DJM-A9. So moving over to the left to this section now, this is completely new on this DJM-A9. We didn't see this on a 900 Nexus 2, and this is pretty much one of the reasons why this A9 is bigger in size. There's 2 microphone inputs on this A9. Microphone 1 is a Combi XLR jack input, which has got phantom power. and microphone 2 is a jack input. But the great thing about it, this whole section here is dedicated to the microphone control. So you've got your mic level here, 1 and 2. You've got 2 band EQ. You've got talk over, and you've got mic effects here, echo, pitch, and megaphone, and then the parameter of how much of those effects you want into the microphone. You've got mic reverb and how much of the reverb you want with this parameter knob here. And then you've got the how to turn the mic on down here. But then if you actually hold this, then it turns into a push to talk. So yeah, microphone 1 has got phantom power, which I'm sure that this is the first time that this has ever been implemented on a Pioneer DJ mixer. And just to give you an example here, this microphone that I've got, this requires phantom power. As you can see, I've got it turned on by you press and hold this button down here. So this microphone is plugged into microphone number 1. I've got the phantom power turned on here. And if I just check 1, 2, check 1, 2, check, check, check. So you can turn it on, check 1, 2, or push to talk, check 1, 2, check 1, 2, check 1, 2, like that. So the phantom power is a wicked feature to have on this A9. Just to say, if you have bought this mixer and you're wondering why yours isn't working, you do have to jump into the utility settings to enable it. So don't be blowing up any dynamic microphones. So final bits of this section over here, you've got your Bluetooth pairing button here to obviously pair your device with any of the 4 channels. And then under here, you've got your MIDI on or off or start and stop. This is if you are pairing this DJM-A9 with a DAW, something in Ableton or Logic, for example. So then hopping over to this section here now, you've got your master level, which is where you turn up your master volume. Again, green, orange and red. Stay out of the red, people. It's no good for you. But something which we have seen on the DJM V10, which has now been brought into this DJM-A9, is you've got 2 band booth EQ. So obviously you've got your booth level here, which is the volume, but you've got low EQ here and high EQ here, which for me, that is a really, really cool feature on this A9, because you can be in DJ booth sometimes and the monitor is either way too much for you with the low end, or, you know, the highs can really be like piercing your ears and stuff like that, even on certain tunes that you're playing or whatever. So it's nice to have that 2 band EQ. I don't think that you really need a mid in there, but I think that the high and the low is plenty. All right, so I'm actually going to hop over to the effects section now. As you can see, the big difference here is the channel select here. This is where you select which channel you want the effect to be applied to. On the 900 Nexus 2, this was a knob similar to this one, where you would say, you know, I want it on channel 1 or channel 2, like that. On this A9, you've got these dedicated buttons here. So, you know, channel 1, channel 2, channel 3, channel 4, mic, which is really cool that you can actually apply these beat effects to the microphone as well as the dedicated mic effects, so you can layer them up. And then you've got crossfader A, crossfader B, and then the master. So if you've got master, all the effects is going to go on anything that's coming at the master, whether you have all 4 channels up in the mic or whatever. Now for me, this is a really, really cool decision. I'm sure that we've all been there when playing on that 900 Nexus 2, where like you had an effect on channel 1 and you wanted to quickly flick it to channel 4, but you've accidentally flicked it to the microphone or whatever. With this, it's so much easier to select which channel you want the effect on. Worth saying though that you can't actually double up, so you can't have like 2 and 4 at the same time. It is only 1 effect per channel. But speaking of the effects themselves, there are actually 3 brand new effects that have been brought in on this DJM-A9. So let's take a little listen. The first one is the Mobius, which is down here in the bottom right. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to assign my CDJ 3000 is in channel 3 here. So I press 3 here. So let's get, and then I hit this button down here to turn the Mobius effect on. So we actually, I think, first saw this on the DDJ 1000 all those years ago. It's like a real nice kind of build up, and then again, you know, you can use your beat parameter buttons up here to change the size of it. And then down here, this is your level depth, so how much of the effect you want applied to the tune. So that was the Mobius. Now let's check out the triplet roll. Basically a roll effect, but in sort of third beat parameters. So we saw this actually on the CDJ 3000, where you could change the beat loops to thirds. There we go, 3/4, 1/3, and all that kind of stuff. But so it's nice to have that actually on this A9 now. So let's have a little listen to what it sounds like. So turn it on again by hitting this button. So that's on 1/3, 1/6, 2/3, 4/3, 8/3. So you're gonna get some really weird sounds, like weird roll sounds out of this, because I mean, yeah, you need to use it kind of cleverly, otherwise it's gonna sound pretty bad, but you know, if you're playing a tune which might not be in 4/4, then that could be pretty powerful. So finally, the last new effect on this DJM-A9 is the triple filter. Again, going on that kind of rule of 3 beat parameter. So let's have a little listen to what that sounds like. So that's on 1/3. I always actually think with a filter, it sounds better the bigger it is, the bigger the beat. So that's 12/3, that's 8/3, 4/3, 2/3, 1/3, 1/6, and 1/12. So again, you know, a really, really cool effect to make your tune sound a little bit wonky and just a little bit out of the ordinary from that normal kind of 4/4. So as you probably saw there, this is the section where you select which beat you actually want, and above that you do have the effects frequency. So you've got 3-band EQ on the effects, whether you want to take the low out, the mid out, or the high. You can of course take more than one out at the same time. So if you only want the effect applied to the low end, then you know you only have the low like that. And then above that section, this is where your BPM detection is, whether or not you want it on auto or tap. So if your auto isn't clocking which BPM your tune is, you can do that physically by tapping like that. Then you've got your quantize here, and then the beat, the size of the beat and the effect, which you saw me applying to those effects there. Press and hold this button here, and that will take you into the utilities on this screen. So let's talk about this screen a little bit now. So just to say, yeah, this DJM-A9 has got some pretty killer stuff that you can actually do in the utility settings. But this isn't something that I'm going to be going into now. It's pretty complicated, so I'm probably going to do that in a completely separate video. But in terms of the screen itself, so the great thing with this screen is that I kind of felt like on the 900 Nexus 2, I don't know about you guys, but I didn't really use the X-Pad that much. Whereas on this screen now, on the A9, it's fully colored, by the way, colored screen. And it kind of makes you more, so when you're changing your effect down here, you know, you can fully see, it's big text, you can see which effect that you're on, but then this little section underneath here, that corresponds to the X-Pad. So for example, like if I go on Echo, everybody's favorite beat effects, you can see, so with the X-Pad, that's 1/16, 1/8, 1/4, 1/2, 3/4, and then 1. And it's just, it makes things more sort of clear when you're using the X-Pad, but also when you're changing the beat effects, you know, it's nice, big and bold like this. You can see where you're at, and then it tells you your BPM in the top right-hand corner, and then whether or not you've got your auto or your tap BPM detection up there. So actually, I think one of the best things about this screen corresponding to the effects is actually on that new Mobius effect. So you can see down the bottom here, this is the shape of the sound. So, you know, over here, it's more of a square, but over here, it's more of a triangle. And again, that's something which maybe I wouldn't have used on the 900 Nexus 2, not that the 900 Nexus 2 had that Mobius effect, but as I said, I wasn't really one to use that X-Pad that much, but I feel like this screen now comboing with the effects, it makes it more sort of usable. Last little thing on the effects, you know, the Mobius, the triplet roll and the triplet filter are new additions, but you have actually lost 3 effects on this A9 compared to the 900 Nexus 2, which is vinyl break, slip roll and pitch. But you can do the vinyl break and the slip roll on the CDJ3000, and the pitch, you know, that was something which typically you would probably use more on a microphone, and now over here you've actually got the dedicated pitch effect for the microphone. So then lastly, on this section over here is the multi in and out up here. Now this pretty much is the same as the send and return that we saw on the 900 Nexus 2, but the reason why it's called a multi in and out now is because you can either use it with the send and return, which is a 1/4" jack on the back, or as I mentioned at the start, you've got this USB input. So you flip between the two here. The USB input, by the way, you know, you could use that for anything really, like a MIDI keyboard or a drum machine or whatever, input it into there. So it's nice to have that. But one of the really cool things about this A9 compared to the 900 Nexus 2 is that down here with the channel select, you know, that was where if you wanted to use the send and return, you would have to have this knob over to the send and return section. Whereas on this A9, you've got the send channel selection up here, which means that you can pile the beat effects on top of the send and return effects separately. So let's talk inputs and outputs on this A9 now. So you've got your send and return. You've got 1/4" jack left and right unbalanced for both of them. You've got an RCA record out, and the Master 2 is an RCA out as well. The Master 1 is an XLR, and the booth out is a 1/4" jack. Then, of course, you've got your 4 channels, which are phono and line on all 4 channels there. And you've also got 4 digital ins, which are laid out slightly differently on this A9 than they were on the 900 Nexus 2. They're all in a row rather than the 2 up, 2 down that was on the 900 Nexus 2. I think personally that this, having them all in a row makes it easier to kind of lean over and plug in. So then you've got your digital master out there as well. To the right of that, you've got your link, which is for the Pro DJ link. You've got your mic 1, which as I said is a combi XLR jack. Mic 2 is a jack, and then above the mic 2, you've got the grounding signal, which there is actually 2 of them. There's one over by the channel 4 as well. And finally, over here, you can see this antennae. And the antennae is for the Wi-Fi. So yes, you did hear me correctly. This DJM-A9 has got Wi-Fi built into it, but unfortunately, it's not that Wi-Fi that you're going to expect. So you can't do any sort of music streaming on this thing. The Wi-Fi is for Pioneer DJ's brand new app called Stagehand, which is pretty much for use of front of house. So in terms of sound, this DJM-A9 has got an ESS technology 32-bit high quality AD converter, so it sounds crystal clear. The sound is high resolution, and actually the master and the booth output sections have both got 32-bit high quality DA converters from the same brand, so you get the same sound out of the booth monitor that you do from the master. And in fact, even the sound quality of the microphone input and the headphone outputs have been improved since the 900 Nexus 2 as well. So in terms of comparing this sound-wise to the DJM V10, they both use the same chip, that ESS chip, but they are tuned slightly differently. Remember guys, the V10 is 4-band EQ, and it's got a lot more bells and whistles on that V10 than this A9. But rest assured that this DJM-A9 is the mixer that you're going to be seeing in the club DJ booths from now on. So to conclude here then, I know that that was kind of quite a lot to take in about this brand new DJM-A9, but to tell you the truth, it's not over the top. It's not like hugely different from the 900 Nexus 2. And we saw this when Pioneer DJ brought out this CDJ3000. You know, it was close enough for the 2000 Nexus 2s, for users of the 2000 Nexus 2s to hop straight on the CDJ3000 and feel right at home on it. The same deal goes on here with the A9. If you're used to the 900 Nexus 2, which the majority of you club DJs will be, you can hop straight on this and you'll know where everything is, but you will embrace the brand new features that are on it. Highlights for me are the faders. They feel amazing. Having this brand new dedicated microphone section, I don't know how much I would use the mic effects to be fair, You know, it might be just to stitch up that annoying MC that's badgered you to get on while you're DJing. Love the new effects. This channel select is a bit of a game changer for me as well. And obviously that brand new screen is amazing. So let me know in the comments, guys, what do you think about this DJM-A9? Is anything missing from it that you were expecting to see from the upgrade from the 900 Nexus 2? What's your favorite feature? What's perhaps a feature that's on here that you don't need? Let me know in the comments section. So as always, thank you so much for watching, guys. Make sure that you like the video, share this with anyone who you think might be interested, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button for the DJKit YouTube channel. Until next time, you take care out there. Peace.